Welcome to Echo Trade. I'm Jeff Roth from Echo Trade, here again with Bill and Sherli from Garrison Bradford. And we're here to talk about Garrison Bradford as a firm and Bill and Sherli's background as well. So Bill, Sherli, I appreciate you guys being here. So Bill's got, decades and decades, both have decades of experience. Bill's going back, almost 40 years at Garrison Bradford in and of itself. One of the first CFA charter holders. I'm curious to hear about that. And Sherli's got an international background, time at JP Morgan and Chase and over a decade with Garrison Bradford itself. But Bill, Sherli, thanks a lot for being here. Appreciate you taking the time.
Welcome. Sure.
So let's dive in. I guess we'll start with you, Bill. Let's give some background on your kind of professional experience. It's long and varied. So it's all been in investment management. So let's give the audience a kind of an overview of your background.
I had a math teacher in high school who spent most of math period in the office talking to his broker. So he and I started a stock market club that did very well and continued on for several years after college. I started as a security. So I knew all along I wanted to have something to do with the market. I started as a security analyst. I wound up running a large growth stock mutual fund. That company started a pension management group just at the time that pension money was beginning to move from the stodgy old trust companies and insurance companies to independent managers who were emphasizing equity performance as opposed to 4% a year kind of stuff. That company did quite well. We wound up selling it, and I partnered up with a guy I had known for many years and who had started his own firm in 1974. Coming out of a very, very successful hedge fund group, and the rest is history. We started.
That was Garrison.
Bill. That was Bill Garrison.
Yep.
So that's my background. I'm a fundamental investment analyst. I read 10Ks. I kick the tires. I listen to conference calls. I go to conferences, and I think about what makes great growth companies that we invest in. I don't think so much about the stock market or the economy.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So ever since high school, you were looking at this, and you started the stock market club in high school, and then been doing this decades ever since. So Sherli, international background, chartered accountant in New Zealand, which I think is kind of the CPA equivalent over here, and time at JP Morgan Chase and a decade with Bill here. So give us kind of the overview of kind of your history.
Wow. How much time do you have? Okay, I'll be short. Essentially, yes, my whole professional life was involved with the world of finance. So when I first started with Chase Bank, Malaysia, Singapore, New York, and of course Chase Bank was merged with JP Morgan Chase now. Mm-hmm. It really was a wonderful experience because it gave me the global perspectives and deep insights to how capital markets work. So why is that important? When you look at the world we currently live in, it's very global. What happens in China impacts us. What happens in the Nikkei, Europe, they all impact us. So after many years of that experience, I decided to study MBA in finance. And I love it because that finished in the year 2004. And we learned all about option strategy and all this financing and the mortgage market. And then 2008 happens, and I was listening to Alan Greenspan, who was singing high praises of the arms mortgage. That is the option, the interest reset.
The option arm, yes, exactly.
That I think
Careful.
is a time bomb thinking. How can you say it is the best thing ever invented? I don't need to argue. The market showed him how wrong he was. And after that time, I joined Garrison Bradford, and I'm so fortunate because I studied under these two masters, Mr. Garrison and Mr. Bradford, Bill Bradford. They are passionate about security analysis. They are passionate about portfolio in management, and they're passionate about building long-term wealth. So I had these two wonderful human beings who shared their knowledge with me, and I learned the tricks of long-term wealth building.
And you definitely have the global perspective.
There's a book in there somewhere, right?
So talk about the firm now. Shirley, you've been here for over a decade, and Bill, Bill Garrison had founded it in '74, right? But you came on, in the '80s. So nearly 40 years that you've been part of this, had your name on the door. So talk about how you guys service clients and what your typical client looks like at Garrison Bradford.
Well, we have about 50 clients. They're all, well, I'll take that back. They're primarily high net worth individuals, although we have because they have charitable foundations and the like, we have some tax exempt money as well. They have varying goals. They have varying risk levels. Their goal is to grow their capital over time. So most of them own the same stocks. They just own them in different amounts with equity ratios that can be high or low depending on their overall risk tolerance for volatility in the stock market.
Well, let me step back a little. So in my 12 years with Garrison Bradford, I am now happily a partner of the firm. So that's wonderful. And how do we work? In reality, Bill and I discuss everything, especially pertaining to clients' portfolios. We will go through, argue with each other, support each other, and actually, make sure that we agree on the investment thesis or the selling thesis. That's very critical because we think that we all have different ideas. And when those two individuals agree to a same idea, it's so much more powerful. So we do everything together where management and selecting of companies are concerned. And of course, we know all our clients intimately. They have become friends, and we help their children manage their money. So how do we service clients? With integrity and fiduciary responsibility. That's how we service them.
Well, let me say a little more about that. So as you can imagine, the firm's been around for a long time. So we've had clients for many decades. We're now into the second generation in many cases, and the third generation is looming, is there. And, it's not so easy to get to them. These are younger generations think about investing in different ways. And Jeff, one of the reasons that we're interested in Echo is that you guys are trying to build a platform that gets to people much more interested in digital connection and so forth. So we're working with their parents and their grandparents to help bring them along. But I think one way that that's going to happen is we're going to have to ourselves get more into the digital world and digital connection with them.
And in fact, Jeff, we thank you for offering this opportunity because we view EchoTrade as a bridge for us for the younger tax savvy generation to reach its finest and for us to reach them. Because as Bill said, these younger generation, they are adept at this digital platform. We are adept at building wealth long term. So it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, and we can marry the two for one time, because again, typically your typical client, I mean, you guys are saying averages, a few $1 million in assets that you're managing for them. And there's a few small percentage of people that have that. So the access to expertise from you guys was limited. And so we're thankful to be able to, work with guys like yourself and for you to be able to partner with us to expand that access. And like you said, have that bridge between the younger generation and expert asset management from
right. And we don't have to do anything different, because you can put one share of Microsoft in a portfolio, or you can put 1,000 shares. There's really no difference. So our Echo portfolio now, the wealth builders portfolio, looks exactly like the portfolios of all our other clients.
Well, Bill, Sherli, you guys are fantastic partners. We're thrilled to have you on the platform and have Echo Trade investors have access to the long-term wealth builders portfolio, and they can learn more on Echo Trade. Bill, Sherli, always great talking to you. Great partnering with you. Thanks so much.
Thanks for inviting us,
Jeff. Thank you.